know, some people get scared and others terribly confused when retirement knocks at their door. Welcome to A Word from the Coach. In our previous episode of A Word from the Coach, I spoke about what I called the misconceptions of retirement, the lies and the half-truths of retirement, statements that the world has thrown to us about retirement which are not necessarily true. And sadly, very many people have believed in them, and they have affected how these people view retirement, how these people have faced retirement, those that have faced it, and how these people have entered into retirement believing. In this week's episode, I want to share about what I call realities of retirement. Some of these retirement realities are negative, while others are positive. In this week's episode, I'll be focusing on the negative realities of retirement. And then in the next episode, I will focus on the positive realities of retirement. But before we get into it, please take a moment and subscribe to this channel if this is your first time here. If you like what you have been getting here, you like this video, please take a moment and like it. Please share it, drop a comment, let me know what else you would want me to talk about. If you have a question, drop it in the comment section, and I'll be glad to make another word from the coach video in response to the same. One of the realities of retirement that I consider negative is the reality of despair. There is a lot of despair in many people's lives upon retirement. There are many people who begin to give up on life. Many people who begin to conclude that it is done for them. That is the end of the story for them. Many people who begin to believe that nothing good can happen to them upon retirement. And this especially happens where the people in question did not adequately prepare for retirement. The people in question retired when they did not have any savings for retirement. They had not invested for retirement. They had not thought about retirement entirely. And as this series on retirement continues, I will be helping you to internalize retirement from a broader perspective. Some people had not thought about the social aspect of retirement. Some people in this category probably had not thought about their health in retirement. Some of them probably had not thought about their career in retirement or their work life in retirement and so on. And therefore, when the time for retirement comes, and they were so used to the work environment, they find it difficult believing that they can survive outside the company they've been working for, outside the organization they've been working for. And that is how despair begins to set in. That's how many of them begin to give up. It gets even worse when some of them have believed some of the misconceptions we mentioned in our previous episode. For example, where we are told that retirement is a time for you to die. So if you believed, or you've had a lot of people around you saying that people in your career do not survive beyond 5 years, and then you have retired and you've not prepared yourself, and therefore you begin to stare into the harsh future that you can't actually see, you can't actually visualize properly, then you might find yourself in a state of despair. So for those that are listening to me and have not retired, the best time for you to prepare, to start preparing for retirement, is immediately you hear or you get to learn about the reality of retirement. So someone who is a bit prepared about retirement or prepared about retirement will approach retirement with a certain measure of courage, which is better than that of a person who has not prepared for retirement and retirement has just come. The second negative reality of retirement that I must mention is plenty of time. Now, plenty of time affects retirees both positively and negatively. I want to describe how it affects retirees in a negative way. Many retirees or many people, when they are nearing retirement, like I have mentioned, they don't think about it holistically. They don't think about how will they be utilizing their day. One of the things that employment does in people's lives is to introduce structures. Employment plans your life for you. Employment dictates how you dress, when you wake up, when you get out of your house, when you get to eat, who you interact with, and a lot of things in your life. There is a video I have done about how employment brings structures into your life. Now, retirement, on the other hand, demolishes the structures that were put in place by employment. Now, there is bound to be some confusion there if you did not begin to think about how you can now institute your own structures upon retirement. So there are many people, after they have retired, some of them think they're very busy. Before they go to bed, they have figured out how the next day will look like. They will wake up, get to have their breakfast, probably, take care of the hedge, if they have a hedge that needs to be attended to, take their animals to the grazing fields if they have animals, and things like those, read newspapers and all those things. And then they imagine that that will take them the entire day. And I have a particular case where someone mentioned in one of those retirement retreats that when they retired, they thought they had a lot on their hands. Then on a particular day, you have woken up very early, you've done everything that you needed to do. Then when you check the time, you realize it's still 10:47 a.m. So you still have the bulk of the day looking at you. What do you do with all that time? Now, all that time can be utilized positively, like we will see in our next episode, but all that time can also be very confusing. All that time can also attract a lot of negative energies in the lives of people. I know retirees, for instance, who learned about alcoholism, who started drinking after retirement. They had not been drinking in their entire working life, but because of plenty of time in their hands, they didn't have a good plan for the time, and they probably found that they had some money in their hands, maybe their final dues or something like that. So when you have money and plenty of time, that's a very dangerous combination. So some of them decide, to just take a stroll, go and meet with other people in the nearest centers, and before they know it, they have started entertaining the temptations to try out some of these things they've just been hearing or reading about, and to just probably get to know how alcohol tastes and some of those things. And that's how some of them become serious alcoholics. Plenty of time. Please, if you haven't retired, just know that retirement comes with plenty of time as a package. So begin to think about how you will be utilizing that particular time, because you will not have schedules. It gets even worse when you have that plenty of time. You have not defined your social life. You don't know uh, how to deal with your social life, who to interact with when you're in retirement. And now, when phone calls have stopped coming, some of us, when we were employed, we occupied offices that attracted a lot of phone calls. Some of those phone calls lied to us that we were very important. Of course, all human beings are important. But those phone calls can make some of us begin to think that we are super important. And we forget that what is important in that case is the office and not the office bearer. So there are some people who go into retirement and the phone calls mute. They stop. Of course, the office still receives the phone calls, but now they don't receive the phone calls. Yet their system had gotten used to, their phones ringing every other time, and they're getting reports. Oh, the vehicle has come, the delivery has come, so and so reported, so and so did not report, and so on. Now, lack of phone calls and a lot of time begin to also create another dangerous mix of confusion. And some retirees have actually confessed to me that the lack of phone calls made them to begin to think that the world has rejected them because they have retired, that people no longer want to talk to them because they no longer have value. And that can be a dangerous thought line, because sometimes if that is untamed, then it begins to sink people into depression, and the end result might not be very, very good. So please think about how you will utilize your time when retirement comes. If you are occupying an office today that is very busy, that has made your phone to be very busy, please remember, the phone calls that are coming are not from your friends. The phone calls that are coming are not because you are an important person. The phone calls that are coming are official phone calls. Do not forget. The third reality that is negative about retirement is that retirement for some people is a time of pressure. It comes with pressure. And it comes with pressure in different forms. And I'm saying for some people, not for everyone. These are just negative realities that I have collected amongst people who have gone into retirement. There might, for example, be financial pressure. Financial pressure in the sense that you have retired, but you realize you did not financially prepare for retirement. Therefore, when you try to imagine how long can you survive with what you have, then you begin to get worried. There is pressure on you, right? You begin to get worried that what you have cannot sustain you for a long period of time. And that now begins to send you into stress. And some people begin to even degenerate into depression, because that is a reality that is facing them. It's a reality that needs to be addressed. Financial pressure. Financial pressure does not just occur because you have inadequate finances. For some retirees, financial pressure is a result of plenty of money. Some of them, upon retirement, they have been given a golden handshake, their final dues. And some of them have opted to be given everything at once. And therefore, they are handling money that their hands have never handled. Therefore, that can also begin to confuse some of them. You know, when your hands get to touch money of a magnitude they have never touched, some people get super excited. Some people get more confused. Some people even start spending nights away from home because money has awakened some sleeping giants in them. All right. So I have met retirees, in many cases, by the way, where retirees have been more confused because of money and the final dues. So there is pressure because you have money, but there can also be pressure because you don't have money. There can be pressure because you're thinking about, what if this money gets depleted, right? What will I do afterwards? Pressure can also be because you're wondering, every time you want to spend the money, you're asking yourself, am I really using it in the right way? Am I about to blunder? And so on. So that's a lot of pressure on you, financial pressure. The second category of pressure that some retirees face is social pressure. You are retiring, but you never thought about your social life. You do not have friends where you want to go and settle. You used to never go to that particular place when you are still employed. You would go to that village in your car if you're driving, or if you're not driving, maybe you've been carried by the motorbike, and so you don't even have time to say hi to people. So you would quickly just be taken home. You stay there. You will leave as you go back to where you are working. So no one knows you in that village. Therefore, if you're not careful, you might need to start reintroducing yourself. You know, on the way as you you walk, you want to stop everyone and tell them, hey, my name is so and so. You know, I come from this homestead just down here. I have come to live with you guys. I used to work in town. but now I have retired, so I have come. Please don't forget my name. I just come from down here. Please, that will be a very cumbersome thing. So some people, when they have retired and they realize that they never thought about the social part of life, that the social part of life is not taken care of, it begins to give them pressure, right? How will I live without friends? How do I leave the city where all my friends are and go to a certain up country where my friends, where I have no one I can call a friend? And so pressure begins to mount on them. And by the way, I must clarify something here. It's not a must that when you retire, you must go up country. I have sat down as we do retirement preparation for families that have told me they have no plan of going to the village. They have identified a place they will be buried, but their entire social life is in the city. That's where they have established their religious circles. That's where they've established their businesses. That's where they have established their friendships. And if they went to the village, they'll be more depressed. And so they are planning to handle their retirement from a city, a town perspective. And their plan is working, and that's okay. That's okay, right? Trouble comes when you did not think about it, therefore you have not planned. And you're going to settle in a place where you have not put mechanisms in place to handle that particular reality. So if you are watching this and you have not retired, please begin to think ahead of it. And please remember, retirement planning is not just about finances, it's also about your social life. Where are you planning to settle when you retire? Who is going to be a friend when you retire? And begin to work on this aspect early. You know, when you go on leave, when you visit those places, begin to interact with people. It will make your integration in that particular place a bit easier, right? If you are a believer, go to church there. Let them know you. If you hear about the chief's baraza or those local government meetings, attend them. Let people begin to know about you. If you hear that there are those rural arrangements or associations where they are supporting one another in times of need, please register, be a member, all right? So that when something happens and they tell you so and so is sick, we are contributing this much, or so and so has gone to be with the Lord, we are contributing this much, please make sure you contribute. That begins to make your integration a bit easier, and it will reduce that social pressure. The third type of pressure you will face, or rather some people face in retirement, is medical pressure. You see, as you advance in age, there are certain ailments, certain conditions that begin to be attracted to a body that is aging. It gets worse if this body was not well taken care of during its time of plenty, its time of activity, its time of energy. All right? Best, or depending on what you are eating and what you are doing, medical issues begin to arise a lot after retirement. So there are people, when they are going into retirement, they begin to face the pressure of, how will I be able to take care of medical expenses when they occur? In the event that I fall sick, probably you are used to having the medical cover from your employer. And some people get blinded by these covers from their employers to the extent that they do not figure out how they will be able to maintain such a medical lifestyle upon retirement. You know, when we have these medical cards, we do crazy things. Some people, when they have a bite, they've been they've been pricked by something as they're walking, or or some insect has had a bite on them. They go to the most expensive hospital to report that a mosquito has they have a mosquito bite, and it's because they have a cover and the card is here. But you see, you're getting used to that lifestyle, but you're not thinking about what will your life look like after retirement, or after you exit that particular workplace without any plans, you know, of how you can be able to acquire a cover similar to that on your own, or however else you will be able to take care of medical bills. So that can put pressure on you. So please think about that as you think about your retirement. The fourth aspect of pressure that you will face, or some people face in retirement, is family pressure. Yes, you can also face family pressure, especially if during your heydays, when you were working, you neglected your family. You left them in some village somewhere. You never cared about them. You never thought about, you never went there frequently. You did not want them to come to where you were living. Therefore, they learned to live on their own. They formed their own government. Upon retirement, now you want to go back to them. You might find it rough. You see, you know that the family is yours. You expect your children to respect your command, but they are not used to you. They don't look at you as their commander. You've not been relating to them in that manner. They are even probably mostly used to their mother's command. If their mother coughed, they know this kind of cough means we need to use this route. We need to go this way. But you will go there and you will command using words, but they will not obey because they are not used to you as their commander. That will put pressure on you as their father. And therefore, as you think about retirement, think about your family. If you are this kind of person that I'm describing, then begin to reconcile with your family. Begin to make amends. Begin to treat family the way you should. Because at the end of the day, when East has refused, West has refused, North and South have refused, home will remain to be the best. I remember one day speaking to a group of retired senior police officers, and there is one who shared a very moving story when I talked about this particular point. And he said he had gotten used to the salutes in the disciplined forces, in the police force. He had gotten to, the way everyone in the ranks below him would be saluting him everywhere he passes, even on the phone. The discipline space is quite interesting. Someone will be on the phone and they are talking to someone. When they realize it's their senior, they will be, straight, stiff, and they'll even salute them on phone. So this guy had gotten used to this kind of treatment. Then he retired. He went to the village where his wife and children were. And the guy was tormented for a while because he was expecting the wife and the children to do the same. He's used to commanding salutes, and all those things. So he was expecting every time the wife passes, she needed to salute. But now the guy is not receiving the salutes. So that began to torture him until the day he woke up from slumber and realized, hey, I have retired. This is family. This is not a police base. So please be careful. That might be pressure. I hope you're enjoying what you're hearing here, and I hope I'm just contributing positively to the body of knowledge that you need to have even as you think about retirement. Like I mentioned, this is one of those subjects that I'm so passionate about because I have seen what many people go through in retirement, and I decided as part of the things I will consult about, as part of the things I will teach, as part of the things I will speak about, retirement will be ranking in the top tier. Because we must talk about these things. It is not a very interesting conversation, but it's a conversation we must have so that we minimize chances and cases where we are looking at retirement as a horrible phase of life. Yet it's a mandatory phase of life, like we said. So if you're loving what you're hearing, please remember to like this video. Feel free to share it with your friends. Drop a comment down here. Let me get to hear what you feel about this. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe to the channel. The last negative reality I want to share with us today is the reality of fear. There are some people who get affected by fear when they are nearing retirement or when they have retired. And they face fear in different formats. Some will face fear of the unknown. They're just afraid. How will life look like? I don't know. I've never retired before, so I don't really know if I will survive for a long period of time. I don't know what retirement has in store for me. I don't know if I'm going to be sick. And a mixture of fear and anxiety begin to affect some of these people. Many of those who get affected by fear are those who also did not prepare for retirement, and therefore, once the reality has come, then they go into panic mode, and therefore they are afraid, and they don't know whether they'll be able to survive in the life of retirement. Another thing that also causes this fear is the absence of fringe benefits upon retirement. There are some people who have been enjoying some other benefits of employment, but they never cared to plan for their own. There are people, for example, who are provided housing for by their employer. When I'm training these people, I like reminding them, please use this opportunity to make sure you have your own house. There are some people who I know, the government will be doing, if they work for the government will be doing everything for them. Companies will be doing everything for them. They have a free house, they have a car, all their children are taken to school, brought back using company or government resources. They do not know what it means to fuel a car. They do not know what it means to refill gas. They do not know what it means to pay for electricity bills. They don't know what it means to pay for water. They do not know. But now they are not thinking about what would happen if they exited. Will they be able to continue living a life like this? Okay. And so some of them begin to fear when retirement is nearing, and that's when they realize, oh my goodness, you know what? This building is going to go. This car is going to remain here, and so on. There are other people, the office they hold requires that the company gives them airtime. Therefore, they don't know how to buy airtime. They rely on company airtime. Therefore, they might find themselves fearing retirement because they are wondering, how will I survive now buying airtime on my own? So please be careful. Learn to separate what the company does for you and what you need to do for yourself. What the company or the organization does for you for the sake of the job you're doing, and what you need to do for yourself for the sake of propelling your life to the next level. Please don't wait to be shocked when retirement knocks at your door. Good people, thank you so much for listening and watching up to this point. I want to believe I've said something that will sensitize you, even as you think about your life in retirement. You might be watching this, you're still young, and you're wondering whether this makes sense to you. And I must remind you that retirement planning begins the first day you get your job. And I have mentioned many times, whether you are consciously planning, doing some things in readiness for retirement or not, the truth is you are working towards your retirement. So if you're not doing anything about it, you're still working towards your retirement. When it comes, you will reap the fruits of doing nothing about it. And when you choose to do something about it, you are also still preparing for retirement. So I want to wish you all the best as you ponder on this. God willing, in our next episode, then I will be breaking down the positive realities of retirement. Please remember to subscribe, like this video, drop me a comment, and I'll be glad to interact with you. Thank you so much. You can do better, and God bless you.